Okay, so let's look at the peritoneal cavity. Peritoneal cavity. Okay, so the peritoneal cavity, we're talking about the serous membrane part of the abdomen. So, in AP1 we talked about the serous membranes, and there was the thoracic cavity and then the abdominopelvic cavity. So now we're talking about the abdominopelvic cavity, and we know that the serous membranes in the abdomen are called the peritoneum, right? And you have the parietal peritoneum and the visceral peritoneum. And remember that these membranes are continuous. They create a space. That space has fluid in it, serous fluid. And basically, within this cavity, it really just helps to keep friction down from the organs that are rubbing up against each other, right? So if I start up here, this is the liver, this thing here. So we know this is the liver. And if I start here, this blue line that I'm running my pen over, this is the visceral peritoneum. And we know it's visceral because it's connected. It's right on top of the organ, the liver here. So it goes up here and it kind of comes around here, and then it goes down this little area here. If you can see, this is like a little sandwiched area of visceral peritoneum. And basically, this little thing, it's because we're going to come around here, bring my pen down here, and I'm going to end up right here at the stomach. Then I'm going to keep going around the stomach. As I get around the stomach, I'm back up to where that little piece of peritoneum came down from the liver. That right there is called the lesser omentum. And it connects the liver to the stomach. Okay? But it's part of the visceral peritoneum. But where it comes, where the liver is here and then it comes down, and then here's the stomach, it creates this little sandwich of peritoneal membrane there. Okay? All right, so then you come up here, and here's visceral peritoneum. We're back on the liver. Then it comes around, and then it becomes the parietal peritoneum. So now this orange part, I guess I could make this orange, I suppose. So this orangey part is the visceral peritoneum. And when we come down here, and this is the pancreas right here, we come over here, and look, here's another little like sandwich thing of visceral peritoneum. And it comes over here, and we get to the transverse colon. And then we're back to parietal peritoneum here as it goes around. And then we're back to this little area that's visceral, that just connected the pancreas and the transverse colon. And then it goes into the parietal, and look, it goes around the duodenum. So look, the duodenum is not in the peritoneum. It's outside of the peritoneum. Goes this way, and then down here we go back to visceral peritoneum, and we make these little sandwich things again. And that goes over to the intestines. So this is visceral. And it comes down to here. Here's another part of the intestine that's visceral. And then it comes back over here. And here's visceral. Because these are all attached to parts of or organs within the abdominal cavity. And this is basically the intestines. So then we come around here and we're attached here. The large bowel there. Here. Rectum. Around and then back around here. And then back out. Still up here. This is still visceral peritoneum until we get back to here. And then we're to parietal again. Parietal, which is the outside, the outer wall of it, of the cavity. Okay? So the rectum's down here. It isn't part of the, it isn't in the peritoneum either. All right? And then it comes around over the bladder and then back up here and then back up to the liver. So that's the parietal and visceral peritoneum. And these little areas right here, these are these little sandwiched areas. These are called mesenteries. Mesenteries. And mesenteries, again, are two layers of visceral peritoneum. And we call that mesentery proper. You can see here, so there, this right here, this is the connection, right, from the pancreas to the transverse colon. And then up here, this is the connection, this is the lesser omentum, which connects the liver and the stomach. And then if you look here, here is a mesentery that kind of comes off and also connects to the transverse colon, and then comes down here and lays on top of the intestines, kind of like a bib. And that thing is the greater omentum. And the so the mesenteries help basically attach the intestines to the abdominal wall. So let's come over here. So mesenteries attach the intestines to the abdominal wall. They contain lymph nodes, and vessels. Okay, and they also contain sympathetic and parasympathetic nerve endings. okay, or nerve fibers. They provide nutrition to the intestines, blood. So blood and nutrients are supplied to the intestinal tract through the mesenteries. Okay. So that is the serous membranes. Turn that off. So serous membranes, again, it's still parietal, visceral, and in the abdomen it's called the peritoneum. So the parietal peritoneum and the visceral peritoneum. Again, on this particular picture, this orange part on the outside, that's the parietal. The blue that's covering the organs, that's the visceral. And then these little connections, these little double-sided 2-layer connections are the mesenteries. All right, so that's about it for that. Next, we'll talk about the oral cavity.